Hi there, my name's Amanda and I'm the blogger and TPTer behind the Primary Gal. In this video, I would like to answer a question that I get asked all the time, and that is, how do I know which book or which level is best for my students? And that's a great question. We don't want to waste time. We want to put them in the correct level so that we can help them work on their goals. So for me, I have some informal assessments that I use. And these have some decoding, some sight words. I also have some for math that I use. And those just help me kind of see what are some areas of strength and what are some areas of weakness. So you can do assessments though without using these. They are available in my TPT store, but that is not a requirement for using the reading series by any means. You probably already have some assessments that you could use, or maybe your district requires, or your students are already taking some assessments in their grade level, whatever the case may be, but there are already some things that you probably have in the works for assessing these particular skills. So in my mind, to determine which level they would fit into, you need to assess them on 5 things. I think those 5 things are letters and sounds, the ability to decode CVC words, the ability to decode blends and diagraphs, the ability to decode, gosh, that's a mouthful there. The ability to decode words with vowel teams, bossy R's, some of that decoding, as well as just sight words. Some of our kids are not great at decoding, but they are rock stars when it comes to sight words. Some of our kids are the opposite. Sight words are not a strength. They try to stretch out every single word, and we know that some words just can't be stretched, and we need to memorize those. So I would suggest finding some tool, whether it be the informal assessments that are in my TPT store, whether they be something that you already have at your fingertips. You might already know what they can and can't do based on what their IEP goals are. So if you know that a student has an IEP goal for reading CVC words, then guess what? I think you should put them in the group or the book level that works on CVC words. If you have students with goals for decoding blends and diagraphs, then that's what I think you should be giving to them for an intervention. So while I feel like the assessment is important, what you know about your students is valuable too. So now I'm going to do a screen share and show you a little bit of what is included. This is on page 3 of the actual product. It's also included in the preview. But it just kind of walks you through what are we working on. So you can see the red and the orange. This is the lowest level, and they're working on CVC words in both the beginning and the end of the year. At the beginning of the year, it's just targeting one medial vowel. So it's all short O, all short U, all short I, or whatever. But as the year goes on, those medial vowels are hard and they need to be practiced. My kids, for example, right now are getting pretty good at changing a beginning or ending sound, but they're very much confusing an I sound or an E sound, a short I or short E, and they need practice with that. So in the second half of the year, it really moves to some of those medial vowel changes. Also, I've used the pre-primer Dolch list for both parts, the red and the orange, and we just focus on the first 20 and the second 20. Moving on to yellow, this is a lot of blends, diagraphs, and CVCE words. And then here we're working on primer Dolch sight words, and here we work on first grade. For me, this level has been a little bit tricky to write because I'm trying to cover a lot in such a short period of time, a lot of blends and diagraphs. Some blends are super simple and some are more complicated and they require a little more time. A lot of sight words are thrown at them in the first 20 and the second 20, but I really think that that's important, and these students at this level really need some help and some focus on sight words. Also then, with the blue and the purple, we're working on decoding vowel teams, diphthongs, bossy R's, things that are a little more complex in my mind. And then we're also working on some Dolch sight words. But what I have found is that a lot of kids who are at this level, they have a good understanding and they're very good at memorization. So they know a lot of these sight words. And so then they're ready for more comprehension and other things that that they can read fluently. They just don't always know what to do with it at that time. So I hope that helps you know where to place your students. Remember, you do not have to have fancy assessments. It can be very informal, just so that you know what can they or what can they not decode. Where do they stand with high frequency words? And I tend to focus a lot on that decoding piece. I do have some kids who can't decode a CVC word to save their life, but they're pretty good at memorization. So I still put them in this lower level so we can focus on that decoding skill. And then they feel like a champion when they can read those pre-primer Dolch words. So I hope that helps you choose the correct level for your students.